Hello and welcome to the Autistic Witch. My name is Claire and I decided to set this channel up to help other people with autism and to talk a little bit about my practice as a witch. So I'm filming in my new den again. I'm enjoying having my little space now. It's beginning to feel really good. It's got a nice energy to it. And I think it's because I've been doing a bit of ritual in here as well. So, I think that really helps, and it helps to build up that energy and the nice sort of feeling that it has. Anyway, as we're approaching now winter solstice, I thought I'd do another little video where I've been really reflecting on things over the last year, because this year's been a really busy year. I started this year wanting to write a book. I began quite seriously doing some writing. I had no social media presence at all, and when I went to a writing course, they encouraged me to start making videos, start doing blogs, start having a social media presence. And of course, as an autistic person, this was totally alien to me. I didn't particularly want to, and didn't really know how to do it as well. But over this last year, I feel I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about how to do this kind of stuff. Haven't yet learned how to edit videos. I haven't got that far yet. I'll need to do another masterclass on that one. But, slowly there's progress. But, anyway, I have been reflecting on all of this, and I've been reflecting on even my autism diagnosis and how I'm still in a way coming to terms with things. I'm still trying to process it. And one of the problems I've had is, and I know people are well-meaning when they do this, but they tend to compare. So they'll compare one autistic person to another autistic person, and that creates a lot of problems. So especially if you're comparing, say, a severely disabled autistic person that's non-verbal, that has lots of complicated illnesses, in addition, and I feel it's a very toxic behaviour, actually, and it's not, it doesn't offer anything, it doesn't help anybody, and it's almost, if you want to get angry about the issue, look at things like social health care that's been starved of money, or at how women have been gaslighted out of getting a diagnosis because they appear to the outside world to be functioning and to be perfectly normal, or whatever normal is. I'm still sort of processing things and dealing with that. Something I did do was a bit of research, actually, about why were all these women missed? Why were women traditionally not diagnosed? And I think there is something there about both how women in the past have been victimised and oppressed, not only if they were sensitive, wise women that would have been accused of being witches, and I've already spoken about that on other videos, about that discomfort that I'd felt about even using the word witch. But as well, I think that has seemed to have gone very deep in our society, and along with, you know, all sorts of prejudices about how women are expected to perform and to have certain social behaviours. So I suspect there's a lot more expectation of women as well. So women, you know, perhaps are masking more. Certainly my own experience has taught me that I've masked heavily, and I've learnt how to give eye contact, how to behave a certain way, you know, and I hid behind all of that. So yeah, I think there's a whole, you know, there's a whole sort of history of oppression and being sidelined and not being acknowledged. And one of the things I discovered when I did a bit of research about this is, you know, Asperger's especially, which is a type or branch of autism on the spectrum. We don't tend to use that word anymore, and I'm quite glad that we don't use the word Asperger's anymore, actually, because I discovered it's got a really dark history. So there was this chap called Hans Asperger. He was an Austrian, and in the 1930s he worked under the Nazi regime, and he basically assessed these boys to find out if they could be useful to the Nazis as things like code breakers. And you know, to him, girls, there were girls who presented with similar symptoms, but you know, they were not useful. They were of no consequence to him. So sadly, they were often killed as part of their race hygiene practices, which is really quite disturbing. But as well, equally disturbing, they were sometimes forcibly sterilised and just locked away, you know, removed from society. So, you know, the more I found out about this, the more I kind of went, wow, you know, there's this whole sort of dark history associated with that. So actually, I'm quite glad that I don't have this, that the condition is no longer named after this man, and that they've, you know, obviously reevaluated things. That has felt quite cleansing in a way to have realised that, and to have, you know, to have, for the autistic world to have also acknowledged that as well. And then I was thinking about my own health conditions, because I have a myriad of health conditions myself, which actually, you know, I think one of the reasons why I got really interested in witchcraft and started to become much more spiritual is because when you're in a lot of pain and you're experiencing a lot of problems and no one seems to be able to help, one of the things that I found myself doing was going more within. So I went within myself and connected to spirit and wanted that divine connection. I've always been very sensitive, always been very spiritual, but this just meant that I went deeper with it, and that search for something else to focus on, it gave me a little bit of relief. It was like opening a little window in my mind, so I could open this little window and decide to connect to nature spirits, decide to connect with fairies or dragons or whatever it was that I wanted, that I felt that day I wanted to have that connection with. And it was like it just gave me that little bit of magic, that little bit of extra well-being, a feeling of well-being, and a feeling of I am loved by the divine as well. And that was really important, especially when you're going through such dark experiences with your own health, and especially when other people continue to gaslight you, you know. And I've experienced that over and over again, not only with my autism diagnosis, but from other health professionals, you know. And again, during doing a bit of research, I began looking at some of the other diagnoses that I've had. So I have a condition that they labelled as functional neurological disorder. And they said that my nerves do not talk to my brain properly. Now, I looked at the history of this. Traditionally, this had been called conversion disorder. Now, conversion disorder is now quite a controversial name. People don't use that anymore. It's considered quite an old-fashioned term. But then I discovered that historically, this would have been labelled as hysteria. Again, we're back to the oppression of women and being sort of locked away for being, you know, nuts. So it would have traditionally been labelled as hysteria, and then it got renamed as conversion disorder, and now it's been renamed again as functional neurological disorder, or FND. And I just find it all really disturbing. It feels like, God, still feel, you know, like I'm not believed, like it is all in my head, and like I am still being seen as the crazy woman. And I do find it quite difficult sometimes. And certainly before I had my diagnosis of EDS, which is Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which it turns out is actually commonly found in autistic women, and they are yet to do research as to why that is, or why that is connected. But anyway, yeah, so before that I did feel that I hadn't really got a proper diagnosis, and that I was pretty much just left to deal with my life, you know. And all of those challenges has meant that, yeah, I guess what my coping mechanism has been my witchcraft. It's been my practice. It's been that process of going within, talking to spirit. I often speak to spirit, either out loud or in my head. I have these crazy conversations and, you know, I don't feel as I suppose as much of an oddball as I had done in the past. I accept myself more as I am now, and you know, I find it's very comforting to me to be able to use this as a tool as part of my healing, as part of helping me ground myself, and as part of just, yeah, this overall feeling of well-being that's so important. So anyway, thank you for watching. I just wanted to share all of that with you. We are approaching the winter solstice now, and you know, winter is this time for reflection, this time for going within, and you know, hopefully soon, as the spring comes, then I can talk about renewal and developing new ideas, and yeah, thinking about the future. So thank you for watching. I enjoy making these little videos, even if only a few folks watch it. I still like making them. And thank you for watching The Autistic Witch.